English podcast show, Learn English Smartly.
Did you know that the average person forgets up to 80% of new words they learn within a week? Shocking, right? Imagine learning a beautiful word like ephemeral today, only to forget it by next Wednesday. Maybe it was sonder, the realization that everyone around you has a story as vivid and complex as yours. Or effervescent, that bubbly, joyful feeling you get when something wonderful happens. You wrote it down, repeated it, maybe even whispered it into the air, but it disappeared. Why does this happen? Why do we remember song lyrics from 10 years ago, but forget a word we learned just last night? Well, today, we're going to change that. Today, we're diving deep into the art and science of memorizing new words smartly. And trust me, it's not about cramming flashcards or repeating words 50 times. Welcome to the English podcast show where learning meets life. I'm your host, Emma, and today, I'm not just going to talk to you. I'm going to take you on a journey into the memory palace of your mind. Together with our guest Alex and our vocabulary wizard Maria, we'll uncover how to make new words stick, sparkle, and stay forever in your memory. This isn't just vocabulary. This is a skill that can transform the way you think, speak, and connect with the world. Let's begin.
Thanks for that lovely intro, Emma. I'm thrilled to be here. You know, I used to struggle with memorizing new words too, until I discovered how memory works. It's actually less about how hard you study and more about how smartly you connect ideas.
Exactly. And we're going to give our listeners some game-changing strategies today. So grab your notebook or just sit back and absorb, because by the end of this episode, you'll be armed with techniques to remember new vocabulary for life. Ready to dive in? Segment 1. Why we forget new words. Let's start with the why. Why do we forget new words so quickly?
Great question. The answer lies in something called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. It shows how quickly our brain discards new information if it's not reinforced. Essentially, if you don't use it, you lose it. For example, if I learn the word loquacious, which means very talkative, unless I hear it again, use it, or relate it to something, I'll likely forget it in a day or two.
That's so true. And our brain loves connections, right? It remembers stories, visuals, and emotions more than just raw facts. Segment 2, smart techniques for memorization. So let's get into the juicy part. What are the smart ways to memorize words?
All right, here's what works. Wonders. Personal association. Attach new words to something emotional or personal. Say you just learned the word serene, meaning peaceful. Picture yourself lying by a quiet beach at sunset. That imagery sticks. The keyword method. This is like a memory bridge. For example, take the word gregarious, which means sociable. It sounds like Greg. So you can imagine a guy named Greg who is always at parties. That silly association helps lock it in. Spaced repetition. Instead of cramming, review the word over increasing intervals. Today, tomorrow, then in 3 days, then a week. Apps like Anki or Quizlet are great for this. Use in context. Don't just memorize the word. Use it in 3 different sentences related to your life. For example, my dog is incredibly gregarious at the park. She has a serene presence in every meeting. His loquacious nature makes meetings longer than expected. Word journaling. Maintain a vocabulary diary. Write down new words, their meanings, example sentences, and a personal thought related to it.
Segment 3, the role of emotions in stories. Alex, do you think stories help with memorization?
Absolutely. Our brains are wired to remember narratives. When you build a mini story around a word, it becomes meaningful. Let's say you're learning the word melancholy. Don't just say it means sadness. Imagine a rainy afternoon, an empty cafe, soft jazz playing. That's melancholy. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the memory.
Segment 4, Real-Life Application Tips. What are some ways learners can apply new words in real life?
Use them in WhatsApp or Telegram messages. Post a daily sentence using a new word on your Instagram story. Watch shows or YouTube videos in English, and pause to note interesting vocabulary. Challenge a friend to a Word of the Day contest.
Yes, and don't forget talking to yourself in English is a great trick. Describe your surroundings, your emotions, your plans, all in English. Segment 5, Vocabulary Time with Maria. Love it. So to our listeners, make mistakes, celebrate them. Each one means you're trying. And now let's welcome our vocabulary wizard, Maria, to break down some of today's expressions and give you real-life ways to use them. She's going to explain some of the key vocabulary and phrases we use today. Over to you, Maria. Wordwise with Maria.
Thanks, Emma. Hello, everyone. I'm Maria, your vocabulary coach here on the English Podcast Show. Let's take a moment to understand some useful words and phrases from today's discussion. These are not only great for your IELTS speaking test, but also in real-life conversations. Vivid, producing powerful feelings or strong, clear images in the mind. Example: she electrified her audience with her vivid stories. Ephemeral, lasting for a very short time. Example: the beauty of cherry blossoms is ephemeral yet unforgettable. Loquacious, very talkative. Example: my aunt is so loquacious that a 5-minute call turns into an hour. Gregarious, enjoys being in social situations. Example: he's the most gregarious guy at work, always organizing get-togethers. Melancholy, a deep, lingering sadness. Example: the film had a melancholy tone that stayed with me. Serene, peaceful and calm. Example: after the storm, the lake looked serene and magical. Always remember, when you understand how a word feels, you rarely forget it. Combine meaning with memory, and you're on your way to mastering vocabulary.
That was brilliant, Maria. And to all our listeners, your journey with English doesn't have to be frustrating. Start smart, be consistent, and always connect words to your life. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. But truly, it's not the end, because from this moment forward, every time you hear a new word, you'll see it differently. You'll pause, you'll connect it with a story, you'll whisper it out loud, you'll own it.
Words are not just tools for communication. They are little keys that unlock whole worlds. When you learn the word serendipity, you're not just learning a sound, you're learning the joy of a beautiful, unexpected discovery. And when you remember it, not by force, but by imagination, you become fluent in more than a language. You become fluent in thought.
That's the power of smart learning. We don't just memorize, we internalize. We don't just cram, we connect. So whether you're in a cafe reading the menu or speaking on stage in a new country, your words will be there, ready, waiting, and confident.
And don't forget, every expert was once a beginner. Every native speaker once didn't know a single word. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Be playful with your vocabulary. Be curious. Let every new word be a small spark that ignites your passion for learning.
We hope you walk away from this episode not just with techniques, but with a shift in mindset. Learning can be light. It can be joyful. And yes, it can stick when you do it the right way.
Thank you for joining us on the English Podcast Show. If today's conversation inspired you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe, leave a review, or share your favorite new word with us on Instagram, Twitter, or wherever you hang out online. Use the hashtag #MyWordMemory, and let's grow this word-loving community together.
And here's your little challenge. Pick one new word today. Just one. Write it, say it, feel it, and make it yours.
Until next time, keep speaking boldly, keep listening deeply, and never stop growing. This is Emma signing off with Alex and Maria, and as always, stay curious, stay wordy, and stay inspired. Bye.